I ate no food for 7 days, and this is what happened to my body.
Hey, I got you guys a protein shake.
I'm a YouTuber, and my goal is to help motivate all of you to become the best possible versions of yourself.
We see images like this everywhere, and for many teens, it's actually a lot of pressure.
But I've definitely felt the pressure to try and be like bigger and stronger.
If you want to be, like a healthy man, you need to be like buff.
Big arms, big legs.
I do see those other people that need to go to the gym every day of their life to get strong arms and look as great as other people because they don't want to feel left out.
Beyond Blue estimates about 28% of males between the ages of 11 and 24 aren't happy with their appearance. That number's even higher for girls and women, but experts say male body image issues don't get talked about enough. Why do you think guys or young boys in particular don't really talk about body image?
I think culturally there's a bit of a tendency to hold things in for boys, man up, toughen up, get over it, you'll be right. It's not a big deal, I'll be fine.
Dr. Callum Deacon is a child and adolescent psychiatrist at the Adelaide Women's and Children's Hospital. He says that stigma is something he sees a lot.
It's not a common thing, I think, for young men to often talk about kind of anxieties around body image with their friends or with their family, and sometimes that might be seen as kind of being weak or not good enough, and so that can lead to avoidance about talking about these things, particularly around muscles and around kind of whether they feel they look big enough or athletic enough, and that's been a growing concern over the last few years.
And guys, it's completely normal to feel a little uncomfortable and awkward when growing up, but when you have a negative body image, it can affect all sorts of things from schoolwork to going out, hanging out with your mates, and in some serious cases, your physical health.
Often people will start by beginning to have really worrying thoughts that there's something wrong with their body, that they're not big enough or that their muscles are too puny. And over time, as that escalates, people can start to engage in quite excessive behaviours to try and gain further muscles. And in that really extreme situation, that can push your body to the brink and in some circumstances may result in people needing to be admitted to hospital.
My name's Bo Williamson. I'm a personal trainer by trade and I've been in the fitness industry for about 13 years. I remember in my teenage years, it was probably around the age of 13. I think 13 to 14 when I really started noticing that I cared about my image and started to have a lot of self-doubt, self-worth and comparison issues. I was really into my sport when I was younger, so playing football at a young age and always being in the development squads and seeing the bigger, fitter, stronger blokes in the club, I guess, get picked up and get focused on. It was hard being smaller and kind of left out a lot in relation to even missing out on being selected or at school being the last one to get picked at times. And that was probably around the age of 15 when I joined a gym and started to go there and basically just train arms 3 to 5 times a week, which was pretty ridiculous. But yeah, it was a pretty constant battle of juggling the gym and school and training and everything else in between. The more that I did it, the more I wanted to continue. It was a never-ending cycle of wanting to be, get more out of it, get bigger, and I was never happy with where I was at.
But for Bo, these workout habits started to change after he had quite the scary experience as a teenager.
So I was buying creatine, glutamine, protein, mass gainer, test boosters, which you don't need under the age of 18 anyway. So I started getting heart palpitations, I was sweating, I was jittery and awesome, but I started getting pain down my left arm, which is the first sign for some heart issues and that sort of stuff. So I got rushed to hospital and ended up in the emergency room.
For Bo, it started out being about sport. But for actor Brody, he says his motivation was to look like, well, a superhero.
So my dream role, is Batman or Superman. So I wanted to have that physique to look like that. And then I became obsessed. So I started training twice a day. I was training twice a day, 7 days a week. And my body was that sore because I was that focused and obsessed with looking this certain way and being, what Instagram kind of shows everyone to look like their best self. and that made me kind of feel insecure. So I started like literally counting my calories. I'd pull out a scale, I'd track every single food, every single like grape, every crumb I would track. And it's kind of started to stimulate into like my social circle. So I wouldn't go out for dinners with my friends, or I'd skip birthdays because I'd rather go to the gym, which is pretty sad. You don't realize you're pushing people away because you're so obsessed with what you currently have going on. And so I got to a stage where I was like completely jacked. I was training twice a day. I was auditioning for projects and I was getting denied, you know, saying that, you know, you just look like a meathead or something like that. And after that, I kind of went on a downhill spiral. So I started to feel like a little bit depressed, a little bit, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wasn't confident in myself anymore.
Body image issues affect so many people. Luckily for these guys, they got some help. But it's really important to know if you're struggling too, you need to do something about it.
If you or one of your friends might be struggling with body image disturbance or having muscle dysmorphia, it's important to try and access some help if you feel comfortable. Often though, what treatment will involve is actually just having some really good, healthy, safe advice about safe ways to eat, to exercise, so that you can still remain active and have the body that you want, but to do it in a safe way.
You don't need to be the guy that's 6'8" that has the biggest muscles in school, and you don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. You just need to look inside you and love your body for what you're in and be thankful for what you've got and be grateful, I think is the biggest thing that I try and educate people on, because life's so short and we have such a short time to spend every day looking in the mirror, judging yourself and picking every imperfection out, when you can just embrace your weird.